Sudajan,
Yes, sir.
you can start recording. Done?
Yes, done, sir.
Okay. Right. What was the last topic?
Exception.
Exception. Hmm. User defined exception also done, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. So any issues, guys? Are you following me
Yeah.
perfectly?
Yes.
Hmm. Right. So we'll discuss finally demo. Hmm? I told you about throw, no?
Yes, sir.
So let us discuss about throws demo. What is the throws keyword used for? Okay. See, I'll copy this age exception into 12. I'll copy user defined exception into 12. Right? You see, guys, what is throws is, for example, I already created an exception of user defined where I am using this exception inside this program, right? Okay, now?
Okay.
Right. I will copy this. Throws demo and paste it in this one. Don't save, close it. I'll don't need this one. I'll remove. Right. Now age exception and the throws demo. What is a throws demo? Right? First we'll see day.12. Here, if you can observe, what I am doing is I am handling exception here itself, right? Putting try catch block and handling here only, right?
Yes.
So if in some cases we don't need to handle in the same position, we need to send that the exception to be handled in the parent or caller. I mean to say this is a person class, for example, I'm handling. But who is calling this person class methods? Main method class, right? Who is calling?
Then method.
When you create object, the person constructor is called, right? Is it or not?
Yes.
Yes. So instead of handling here, you can throw this exception to the caller main method. That is throws keyword. Suppose I'll remove this throw. I'll remove this try catch, right? But just I will throws exception. When the error comes, I'll need throw it, but I don't want to handle it. Then what do? Either you put try catch blocks or just use throws declaration. Done? So if you put throws declaration, then what does it mean? So the exception would be handled by the callee. See, the error from here is gone. There is no error when you put exception. But the error comes here. You see error? Find it?
Yes.
So in the calling position, you have to handle the exception. Push try and catch blocks here. That's it. Done?
Hmm.
Right. See, when you are using persons or some variables or some reference variables here, don't declare directly saying person equals to. You declare the variable in the top, okay, by giving null value if it is possible, and then you can use it everywhere in the try block as well as outside the try block. If you declare it in the try block, you can't use it outside now, right? Hima, hello?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sir.
Done?
Yeah.
Right. So why do I use it here? So I want to close the do you have anything to close? No, nothing. Okay, forget it. So is it clear now throws keyword? Why we use throws keyword? If you want to throws from here, then what you will do? You can put throws here, remove the try catch. Who will handle? Who is the caller for main method? Who will call our main method? JVM, right?
Yes.
JVM will handle then. If you don't want to keep try and catch blocks here, no problem. It will of course raise an exception. Do one thing after the main method use throws which exception?
Hmm.
Age exception. See, error is gone. Is it gone or not?
Hmm.
That is the difference between throw and throws and try catch. Understand?
Yeah.
Result is same. Exception. Right? Next. We'll discuss about finally block. What is a block? Finally block. What is finally block? Do you have any idea about the finally block, guys?
No, sir.
See, at any of the situation of the program, it is simply the guaranteed execution block. Understand? Guaranteed execution. See, catch block is executed when an exception is occurred, right? Catch block is executed when an execution occurred, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Catch block is executed when an exception is occurred. What if the execution does not occur? Do you think catch block executes?
No.
No. Is it guaranteed execution block? No.
No.
Then what do? There should be some block which guarantees us of execution, right? What I mean to say guaranteed block? Because even exception occurred or exception doesn't occur, or due to any other problems, if program closes in abnormally, then the statement must be executed. See, if you go to ATM center, what happens? We'll pick the money and we'll close the block, right? We'll close the account, right? Okay, now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. In the ATM, we'll open the account, we'll try to pick the money, but unfortunately, if there is some problem out of service or something, out of money, okay, then it will throw an exception, right?
Yeah.
It will throw an exception. So even if you couldn't take the money, you will close the account and go, right? So we need guarantee for those closing resources. Understand?
Okay.
We need guarantee for those closing resources. That is the finally block. See, after the catch block, if you write finally, in any of the different cases, it will executed. And I will show you the 3 cases here. One, in the show a method, I am throwing an exception, arithmetic exception. Okay? Does it will go to catch block or not?
If they executed,
Huh? Does it will go to catch block or not?
Yeah, it will say.
Then what about the finally block? Does it will go to finally block or not?
Yeah.
Yes, it will go. Okay. At the end of the statement will be executed or not?
Yeah, sir.
Okay. In the second case, in the try block, I am not raising exception. Is there any exception rising in the try block?
No.
No. Do you think catch block is executed now?
Mm. No.
I don't know. Srujan,
no.
what about the finally block?
Yeah, it will be executed.
What about this statement, last statement?
Yeah, it will run.
What about the last statement in the first method when exception
Yeah,
raises?
I think it will also print.
Very good. What about the, see in the try block I am giving return statement, guys. You know return statement, whenever in the function if you give return statement that will immediately leave the control, right?
Yeah.
Hmm? In the middle of the function only. Do you think exception catch block is executed?
I don't
No.
think so.
Do you think finally block is executed?
Yeah.
Not sure, but the next line will be executed.
Hmm. This one?
Yeah, that will be executed.
Sure.
Yeah.
It is out of finally, guys. Return means the control will directly go back from here. It will not execute any of the statements except finally. Only finally will
Okay.
be executed. Understand the power of finally block?
Yeah.
Even there is a return statement is given, also it will be executed. See, Shosi final is there, but Shosi ended successful is there. Huh? Show B is there, show A is there. Understand now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the final leaf block. Most probably we use this to close the resources. Done, guys?
Yeah.
But finally must be written following with the try catch. Catch is not mandatory, but try is mandatory for syntax. Then
Yeah.
next we'll move to threads concept. Do you know threads? What is a
No.
thread?
Running a syntax for multiple times.
Okay, otherwise we'll do one thing.
Running a process for multiple times.
Mr. Vivek is not here, no? So better we'll start with the collection framework instead of threads. Threads will take next. Okay?
Okay.
What is collection framework? You can say it is the alternative for arrays, right? It is an alternative way for arrays which allows to store the elements in the form of array, right?
Okay.
But why do I go for collection framework? See, let us discuss about the drawbacks of arrays first. Okay, na?
Okay.
Okay.
Let us discuss the drawbacks of arrays. Okay? So, what is the drawback in array? Do you find any drawbacks in normal arrays? Chandra?
Not for sure, sir.
Arrays, once you declared, can you increase the size after the declaration?
Mhm.
Huh? If I declare 5 arrays size, can I increase or decrease the size at runtime?
Mhm.
Can I decrease or increase?
No, you can't do anything.
Not possible now?
Yes.
Okay. That is a major drawback. They are static. Understand?
Okay.
If I declare an array with integer, can I store strings or float?
No.
But in collection framework, I can increase and decrease the size at runtime, and as well as I can store multiple different data types, not similar and dissimilar both. I can store similar data types, I can store dissimilar data types. Understand?
Okay.
Done, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. That is the drawbacks of arrays. So to overcome that, our collection framework is coming into picture. Done?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So collection framework is only the existing technology. It is not a new technology. There is nothing new in the collection framework. There is nothing new. Everything is already predefined. But it is an upper layer. Instead of allowing us to do some operations, it will automatically create some predefined operations and let that use ready-madely. That is collection framework. Understand? Some of the classes and methods are predefinedly available by which I can perform the whole operation which I could do using arrays in the frameworks, collection framework also. Suppose there is a adding element, removing element, so I can write the code with iterating in the for loop, testing for if condition, all it's very big process, right? Instead of writing whole code, I can simply use a method called add, I can use the method called remove. So these are provided by the collection framework. Understand, guys? If you need to sort the elements, I can use simply a method called sort, and I can put my collection framework there. Automatically the elements will be sorted. Instead of writing your own code to sort the logic. Done, guys?
Okay.
Understood?
Understood.
Right. This is the way of collection framework. So what kind of classes and interfaces are Java providing for us? See, in the collection framework, there are set of interfaces and implemented classes. Every interface has to be implemented by a class now. Is it or not?
Yeah.
It's a subclass of interface set. It is a subclass of interface list. It is a subclass of interface queue. So let us discuss all these. See, there are, you can see set, list, queue, map. There are 4 interfaces, right? Basically, in the collection framework, all the collection framework is available in which package? Java.util package.
Yes.
Java.util package. That we have to keep in remember. Note all the collection framework is available in the package called java.util package, right? And what is the main framework? Okay. And the supermost class the supermost class of collection framework is collection. What is the interface? Sorry, it is not a class. Interface. What is that? Collection. So collection is a super interface and it is available in which package? Java.util package. Under that all the sub interfaces are there. If you open any interface, it will implement collection. If you open any interface, it implements collection. Understand, guys? Let's go and check. See, go to command prompt. Just moment, guys. I'll set the path. To set the path in Java path in command prompt, go to advanced settings, okay, environment variables, and you put here a new column called path in the variable name, and here you put the address where the Java is located. Java, after installation of Java, go to program files, Java, JDK 1.7 and bin. See this address, bin folder address, you put it into this path value, semicolon. Path. Then what happen? You can simply operate all the commands directly. See Java C. Is it working? Is it working or not?
Yeah.
Collections. Oh, sorry, set. See, Java P is a command which provides the documentation for all the interface. I mean, what are the methods are there, what is the implementation, everything it will give Java P command. Done? See, extends what? Extends what?
Collection.
Collection, right? And all these methods are available in the set interface. And if you observe list also, list extends what?
Collection.
Collection. So these are all belongs to see, all the methods are there. Abstract methods. What do you mean by abstract method? They have to overridden by someone, no? Can you directly create class object for this set list? Can you create directly object? No.
No.
That's why there are implemented classes. You can create object for hash set. This is the subclass. This is a class implemented by set interface. This is a class implemented by set interface. But you can't directly create object. But you can create reference variable, right? See, the abstract classes interfaces, you have to be perfect, guys. Understand? Don't forget. Right. Is it clear to all now? Okay. So now let us see what is the differences between the set, list and map queue. Okay. Then we will go for these classes later. Right. Set is an interface, set an interface which allows to store the values like an array, but it does not allow duplicate values. What is the behavior? No duplicate values. Here,
It allows duplicate value.
FIFO, first in, first out
First out.
strategy. Actually, we don't require here. Key value pairs. It stores the values in key value pairs. Let us see one by one, no problem. Okay. So set does not allow duplicates, list allows duplicates. There is a difference between these two. Understand? So first let us see the hash set. This is the class implemented by set interface. So if you implement set interface, can you allow the duplicate values? Does this class allows duplicate values? Huh? No, right? Because what is the super interface for this? Set.
Set.
And what about this class? Does this allow duplicate values?
No.
No, because again it interface. And what about array list? Does it allow duplicate values?
Yeah.
Now you understand, right? So let us create a small program for hash set equals to new. Can I create object for hash set or not? I can create, na?
Yeah.
As I told you, I can store any different elements. I no need to give any space here. Did I give any space? No. Dot add. I can store 100 hash set. Add. What happened? What's the problem? Hash set. Dot. Hmm? asset empty. Add method will add the values, guys. Okay. There is no index number. Do we have index number here? Because if you are not declaring, there is no meaning of index, right? In array, we'll declare array 5, array 10. So array of 0, array of 1 will be there, no?
Yeah.
Do you have any index numbers here? No.
No.
Simply you can say add method. Add method will keep on adding one by one value. No need to worry about it. See, Cisco has set. You can simply print all the values. See, 100, 888, Sachin. Got it? Printed, no?
Yeah.
That's it. So you can add integer, you can add string, you can add double. That's no problem. Is there any problem?
No.
No problem. No problem. Right? And if I want to restrict to only one specific type, also I can do that. How? I can put string here. Then automatically it will be restricted for string. See, integer is getting error, double is getting error. Have you observed?
Yeah.
It's not allowing integer, it's not allowing double. Okay, na? If I put integer here, what happens?
Only integer
It will not allow.
Integer wrapper class I should go. See, string and double is getting error. Understand?
Yeah.
Can I give, instead of integer, can I give int? Is it okay? Does it will accept? No. Why? Because it is not a class, right? We need classes. Collection will store only objects. But if you declare int, it is not a class and object, right? The alternative class is there for int. That you have to use here. That is int. Better you go for integer. Understand, guys? So if you want to give specific, you specify the type. Otherwise, you leave everything and automatically it will display. Done, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let me add it 100. I will add 105. I will add 103, 102. I will add some more. 102, 103, 101, 104. Can I add 102 once again? Let's see. See?
Repeated values, not allowed.
Is it repeatedly coming or only once?
Only once.
Only. That is the power of set interface. It does not allow duplicate values. Understand? Okay. Then how it is printing group as a group? What if I want to print individual values? Why do I want to print individual values? For example, I want to make the sum of all these numbers. Can I do that like this directly? Can I do like this? The sum of all the values? Can I do? Can I make the sum of these numbers? To make sum, I need individual values to be retrieved, no?
Yeah.
Can I retrieve it individually?
In
No, no.
yes.
So there is a for each loop. Which loop?
For each loop.
For each loop, which automatically operates on collection framework. See, get the values from hash set. What type of values you will get in hash set?
Integer.
Integer x. Okay? Either you can give this integer or you can give int here. Here no problem. Right? And you declare one variable called sum equals to 0. Sum equals to sum plus x. Sum equals to sum plus x. Now print sum is plus sum. Sum is plus sum. 512. Okay? Done? Right. You understand? So what happens here? This hash set will return first value 100. That will be stored in this x. The x value will be added to sum, and the sum keep on adding all the values one by one. The second time automatically, see this loop automatically iterate number of times until the size of array. We no need to specify any size here, right? That is the advantage of this loop. This is called as for each loop. What do you call?
For each loop.
It is optimized for arrays and collection framework. You have to understand this clearly. And one more thing, if you observe, I am retrieving integer, right? And what this type of sum? Normal integer, right? Can I add normal integer with object integer? And similarly, I told you here we are declaring not int, we are declaring integer. But if you give the class here, you should give object, right? We are using the new keyword. Are you giving like that? No, you are normally giving a value. Value should be integer, right? So actual declaration should be like this. Hash set dot add new integer 100. This is the actual value. Understand? Are you giving like this? After creating object, you are putting the value, or directly you are giving normal value?
Directly.
But collection framework only stores object of collection of objects, right? Is it an object now, do you think? If you want this object, then this is the way of storing. This is an object using new keyword, right? Okay, now
Okay.
you declare the value using new keyword. This is the actual object. But we are not doing anything. Simply we are giving a normal value. Even though compiler doesn't give any error. Why? Because from Java 1.7 onward, 1.5 onward, there is a feature called auto boxing and auto unboxing. Do you know that? So this is called as auto boxing. Means converting a normal data type into object, automatically done. Understand? Converting a normal data type into, see, it must be integer type, right? But this is normal integer. Automatically it will be converted. So converting from normal, this is called as primitive, int a, int b, char. Primitive type to object type. Similarly, in the reverse, if you come, this object, how it is adding to normal integer. See, this is normal integer, no? Sum. How can it cope up with this normal integer? So here this object of x is automatically converting into normal integer. That is called as auto unboxing. This feature is automatically available after 1.5 JDK. Understand, guys?
Yeah, sir.
Any doubts here?
No.
Any doubts? Right. Then, what is the difference? What is the difference between hash set and linked hash set? There are two classes, no?
Yeah.
Hash set and what is the difference? If I use linked hash set, what is the difference? What is the difference between this hash set? This is the hash set output. This is the linked hash set output. What do you feel the difference? Did you find any difference?
I think it is sorting.
Is it retrieving in the same order in which you added? Observe it. 100 is first. Is there 100? 105 second. Is 105 there? Is it sorting order?
No.
No. So it is not guarantee the retrieval of the elements in the same order. That is hash set. Randomly it will print. But here if you observe the same order, 100, 105, 102, 100, 104, 101, 104, because 100 will not be repeated, no? In both the classes, repetition is not allowed, right?
Yes.
Because both belongs to set. That is the difference. Understand, guys?
Yeah.
Just go through all these concepts. We'll continue tomorrow. Okay? Any doubts? Yeah, tell me. Yeah,
Sir, could you
tell me.
explain the yesterday's null pointer exception yesterday?
Null point 11. See guys, in this class I have put a method now. Generally how you will call this method? By creating object for the sample class you call, right?
Yeah.
If you don't create object, does this will be available? Object creation means what? Sample equals to new sample, right?
Yeah.
New sample is object creation. But only you created variable, reference variable. Pointing to where? Object, huh?
No, null value.
Null value. Can you call display? Is there any display inside null?
No.
If there is an object and that address you keep in sample, the sample can call that address display, right?
Yeah.
Do we have any address in sample now?
No.
Sample is pointing to any address of object?
Yes.
No, in the null area, no?
Yes.
So, how can you call display? If directly it will throw an exception called
Null pointer.
null pointer. See, you are not pointing to any object and somebody is asking you to call the method. How do you call? You don't know anything, right?
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah. Clear.
Right.
Thank you.
I'll send this project. Okay?
Okay.
Do you want me to send this or you will take the video and type it? It's a small programs, no? Better you take the
Yeah.
video and type it. And also I'll send this soft copy.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
No problem. Go through it. And Srijan or Chandra, can you send this video to Vivek?
Yeah. Okay.
Huh? Do you
I'll
have
send
a
it.
mail ID?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, just send it. Right? Bye.
Bye, sir.